my loves. Welcome to Power Conversations and Connections. Thank you for joining the conversation where we talk life, the beauty and vulnerability on the journey to self-love and evolving into our best selves. I want to jump right in today and I want to ask you a question. Do you believe that you have the power to choose? We all say that, oh, I can make my own decisions, I can choose whatever I want to do. But do you believe that you have the power to choose? I mean, in here, down in your soul, do you believe that you have the power to choose? I do. I believe at this age and stage that I have the power to choose. And why is that even a consideration? Why is that a question that I'm asking you? Because if you don't believe it, you will never choose the things that will move your life forward. You see, every decision that we make is by choice. Now, don't get me wrong. There are certain situations and circumstances, such as, being abused or being in situations where you don't have a choice. But it's clear that in that very moment you might not have a choice. And what I mean by that is people always say, especially if you know someone or you read about someone who was in a long-term abusive relationship, well, why didn't they just leave? Well, for those of us who are sitting on the outside looking in, it's easy to say what you didn't do and what you wouldn't put up with. But we don't know the circumstances. Had they left, would it have ended in a bad way for them? Would someone have gotten hurt? So, caution on judging, right? In circumstances like that. I'm talking about when you get to the point, even in a circumstance like that, when you realize, wait a minute, I deserve better. Or it might not come in that way. It might come in a way that if I don't get out, I'm not going to survive. So I'm going to make a choice. I'm going to take that leap. I'm going to go in on and take my chances. It may occur like that. But in everyday situations, everyday circumstances, in your household, in your family, what you're doing in your career, do you believe that you have the ability to choose? And not even ability, because we all have the ability. But do you believe in your soul that you have a choice? Because there's so much power when you believe that you have a choice. You'll hear me, I use power often, and because it's a great word. And it's a word that means that there's action, that on the back end of that choice, the power to choose, the power to do this or the power to go in that direction, you're propelling yourself forward, and you really believe that you have the opportunity to do something that maybe you didn't have the I want to say gumption, but not many of you will know what that means. But the nerve, like you didn't have the nerve to do it before. But through circumstances, now you feel like, oh, I've got the power to do it. And so therefore you do. And so that's why the question becomes important. If you believe that you have the power to choose, it defines what you do. If you believe that you have the power to speak life over yourself, then it changes your words. You begin to literally do that thing. You begin to say, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. You begin to think that I can do this thing that was difficult to me. You begin to say, I'm a wonderful mother, or I have a wonderful child, or I can get out of this situation. Your words change when you can believe that you actually have the power to choose, because you determine that you can change your circumstance. And your circumstance may not be bad. You may want more. You may want better, but you got to believe that you have the power to make the decision that's going to move you forward. And then you got to put the action in. You got to go to work. So belief without work is nothing. Faith without works is dead. And that's true. But it all has to start with, I know that I can. I believe that I have the power of the choice. This decision that I'm going to make, be it right or wrong, is going to put me in a direction that I want to go. If it's the right thing, I'm good. If it's the wrong thing, because I believe that I have the power to choose, I can adjust without getting into a situation where I stop moving at all. I decide that I'm going to go there, that I'm going to do this, that I'm going to talk to that person, that I'm going to buy this house, that I'm going to invest in this property, that I'm going to sit back and even something as simple as, I believe that waking up at 5:30 in the morning is good for my soul. So guess what? I get up at 5:30 in the morning. Now, do I do it every single day, including weekends? No. Weekends, I give myself a little grace and I sleep until maybe about 6:30. But I've done it so long, I started with an alarm clock. I didn't decide, and I knew, what are you getting up in the morning for? What do you want to do with this time? And why is it important? For me, I needed to spend time by myself before everything or anybody started moving, not just in my household, I mean in the world in general, in my space. Before I got up to go out, before I got up to meet with the client, before I got up to talk and interact and do all of those things, I needed to spend time with me. And I needed to spend time with God. And I needed to spend time journaling. Those are the three things that I needed in my space to make me a better person for that day, to give me the opportunity to move with a clear head. And so I believed that if I do this, I'll be better. I believed that I had a choice. I made a conscious decision and I started with an alarm clock. And as I began to do in the alarm clock, you know how the alarm clock goes off, you snooze, and it goes off and you snooze again. At some point, I had to say, okay, if you're going to be true to your word and make a right decision and the right choice, you know why you want to do it, you know the benefit of what it's going to do, stop the snoozing. So that was my next step. Alarm went off, get up, let's get at it, right? Simple it seems, but that one belief in the power of my choice literally changed my life. It is one of the things that is with me till today, that changed my life for the absolute better. Did it give me a happy day every day? No. But it gave me foundation and it gave me a firm footing and something that I could refer back to during the day when my challenges came. But it was my power to choose to do it, that I believed it was going to be beneficial for me. Your choices define who you are. They define the relationships that you go into. It defines the relationships that you don't go into. We always talking about sitting at the table and creating your own table and building your own table. Of course, all of that is true. But if you don't believe there's value in any of that, you don't believe that you actually can choose to do that, you're in a space and it's not working for you. You could stay there. Like how often and how many conversations have we had about people who don't like where they are in life? They don't like they're addicted to cigarettes. They don't like that they're addicted to alcohol. They don't like, that they're in a bad relationship. They don't like, their job. They living for Fridays and hate Mondays and I don't like it. And yeah, rinse and repeat. How often do you have to fix another sister's crown, right? At some point, I need you to fix your own crown. And at some point, I need you to help me fix mine. But you will never get to that point if you don't believe that you have a choice. I'm not advocating for anybody to just up and jump and do something without thinking about it. But sometimes, if you believe that you deserve better, you believe you have a better choice, then yeah, you jump. You jump. You jump out of the relationship, you jump into the relationship. You jump out of the job, you jump into the job. You jump into entrepreneurship, you decide, oh, hold on, wait a minute. This isn't working for me. I'm going to do what I need to do, regardless of what society says around me. I'm going to go back into the workforce because back isn't backwards. Back is moving forward because you believe that that power, that choice is yours. And it's not dictated by what other people may think or say or do. Let me tell you something. Free yourself. Free yourself from thinking that your choices have to be predicated on what somebody else believes, says, or is going to do on your behalf. If no one does anything for you, you need to do it for yourself. You have to believe that you have the power to move forward, that the choice is in your hands. You know, we say it all the time that, oh, you can choose. You know, we tell our kids or ask our kids. I have a 4-year-old granddaughter, right? And I tell her she's really blessed. She is blessed beyond blessed. Okay, she always gets a choice. What do you want to wear? What do you want for snack? What do you want for dinner? She gets these questions asked to her so that we can build in her, you know, the fact that you have a choice. You don't have to just accept anything. Now, she's not at a state where she knows anything about the power of choice. She just knows whether she wants a cereal bar or whether she wants barbecue potato chips, right? But I know that there is power in instilling in her the thing to make a choice about, that you don't have to just accept anything. And when we don't believe that we have the power to choose, we accept anything. We accept anything. We let people talk to us any kind of way. We get in situations and in circumstances when we don't move our feet, when we stand still because we don't think, we don't really believe that we can make a choice. Is it scary? Absolutely. Have I made some choices where I went, ooh, you probably shouldn't have did that? But that in and of itself is a lesson because no choice is a choice. One thing I'm a huge advocate of that I want for you is understanding that when you don't choose, you leave your fate in the hands of somebody else. When you don't believe in the power to choose to speak up, you leave your decisions in the hands of someone else. When you don't believe that you have the power to choose your direction, you stay in that dead end job. When you don't believe that you have the power to get a better education, whether it's a traditional education, whether it's a trade, I don't care what it is. If you don't believe that you have the power to choose, I didn't say to do, because before you can do, you got to believe that you have the power to make the decision, to make the choice to do it. Then you can begin the actual work of doing it. But you have a choice, one decision at a time. You don't have to change the world today. For those of us who move in or who have moved, who continue to move in the space of vision, and I mean as an entrepreneur and in the corporate side, because I love corporate. I'm actually doing both now because I had a choice. Because again, I wanted a certain amount of movement in my life over the next few years. And I decided, I made a choice to say, I'm going to go back into corporate because it's moving forward This is the criteria that I'm going to go back in for. This is the monetary reward that I'm willing to do it for. And I did my research. On the other hand, I'm going to stay in my leadership entrepreneurial space. I'm going to pursue podcasts. I'm going to pursue my branding because I've got some other things that I want to do. But the choice was mine. And I knew that I had the power to do it. I knew it could be hard. I knew that I hadn't worked in a corporate environment in like 5 years, right? But I wasn't going to punch your clock. That was the one thing. Now, that's different than going into work at a certain time and leaving at a certain time. That's how it is. That's the nature of the game. So let's stop fooling ourselves. Okay? Even on the entrepreneurial space, if you sleep till noon and you're going back to bed at 6 o'clock, you're not moving forward. You're not going to do anything except say that I'm an entrepreneur and use all your savings and all of that. Okay, so let's just be real about what we do. But what I'm saying to you is when you know that you have the power to choose, you make a decision and then you follow through, and along that path, you realize what works, and along that path, you realize what doesn't. You realize who works, who doesn't, but you're able to do that in the process of having made a choice. Before you can accomplish anything, you got to believe that you have the ability to choose and make the decision. Once you start in the process of going forward, when you need to make a decision, you're more apt to make it. When you have to make a hard choice or have a tough conversation, you're more apt to do it because you're building that muscle when you go, that belief, that power to choose. You're less apt to get stuck and take forever to get to an end goal. There is so much power in having a choice. And so I'll ask you the same question that I asked you at the beginning when we first started to talk. Do you believe that you have the power to choose? If you don't, why? Why? Now I say why with a smile, but I'm challenging you. Why? Is it something that you have to work through? Is it someone that is standing in your way? Is it a situation like for me in my head way back when that would stop me from thinking that I could do better? So I didn't make the choice. And then I began to think, wait, hold on, work through this stuff. How long are you going to stand in the same spot? And for me, if you choose to stand in the same spot, anybody who knows you, anybody who knows me will tell you, I'll tell you in a minute. If you choose to stand in the same spot, don't expect me to keep trying to push you out of the way because you're making a choice. So help me help you. And if that spot is where you're supposed to be, then fantastic. Let's be the best of whatever that is. But if it is not, I can't move you until you choose to move. And you won't move until you believe that you have the power to make a decision. Let's do life. Don't continue to let life do you. And if you're not in a position yet, don't put yourself in a position where life will do you. In case you don't believe, I'm telling you, you have the power to choose. Do it afraid. Do it unafraid. But choose what you're going to do and who you're going to do it with. Don't just let life organically happen. You know, I like organic. I love the word. But the way that we use it these days, it aggravates me. Because don't let life organically happen for you. Don't let somebody organically make some decisions for you. Choose what you're going to do. Understand you have the power to do it and use your voice. Especially as a woman, use your voice. You have the power to speak up for yourself. You got to know that you have the power to choose to stay silent or speak up. You have the power to choose and make a decision if you're going to stay in a situation that is unhealthy. You have the power to choose what you put in your mouth. If we let's make it real simplistic. You know, if you don't want to be in that situation, if you don't want to have a particular type of disease or whatever, then make a decision to stop putting whatever that is in your mouth that's going to give you the result that you don't want. Choice. Man, choice is a beautiful thing when you connect it. You don't have to stay stuck. You can choose. Whatever the circumstances is, you can choose to get out if it's not working for you, or go in if it is. Do you know that you have the power to choose? And I'm here to tell you that you do. So make great decisions today. Some of them will work out without a hitch. Some of them are going to have a bump in the road every 5 seconds. That doesn't mean it's a bad decision. That just means it's a challenging decision, right? And everything is not going to be easy. So keep moving, but don't stand still if that's not where you want to be, because you do indeed have the power to choose. Join the conversation all across social media. Like, share, and subscribe at Susan Appleton. Thank you. Y'all be good.